one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey everyone, it's us again. Well, this is Frank. You have Tyler right there. Let's start the show.
Let's do it. What are we talking about today?
Fears.
Fears. Okay, yeah. I'm good on that one. I think I got a good boatload. Oh, no, it's not a good one because I don't like the underside of boats. I have a good list. Oh, but I'm afraid of lists too. I don't like lists. My ADHD self doesn't like lists. So, what are you afraid of now that I've gotten like 10 out of the way?
First off, this is just like a disclaimer that I just always do, like for myself. So even though I have fears, I don't give them life at all. I make jokes about them, and then I just pretty much go do like whatever scares me. So
That sounds horrible, but go off.
yeah. Only because I'm
But
very,
you literally got into a drowning incident
yeah.
in the middle in Lake Michigan, and you're just like, nah, man, I'm just gonna learn how to swim.
Yeah, literally, and literally taking on the verge of taking the classes to be a rescue diver, in which you have to go deeper to find bodies, which is
So
But
so
yeah,
for
actually,
some context, everyone, what was it? Earlier this year,
it was,
Frank decided he wanted.
that was
last year?
That was December 27th.
Wow. Okay, so last year, Frank was on his way into work riding his bike, his vintage 80s heavy bike, and decided, it was like December, he hit some ice along the lakeshore and he went right in, and he got fished out because he likes to wear bright neon colors, so some joggers found him, dragged him out. But this man decided, oh, I don't know how to swim, but I'm still going to save my bike. And he did save his bike. He got fished out, and he still proceeded to come into work. So
that's hilarious. Yeah, so
go off. And then he's like, I'm gonna learn how to swim times 10.
Yeah, but so basically, I was almost like in the water. I didn't get in the water. I was literally like this close, and like two guys. One of the guys like always seen me riding my bicycle. Just like Tyler said, I'm always wearing bright colors, and it was like, oh, that's pink and yellow, just glowing in the middle of the night. And I was like, I don't want to phone, I don't want the bike. And the guy went down. He actually got all that stuff back for me. But transitioned right after that, I was like, yeah, I'm paying to swim, and I'm going to be a rescue diver. So that's actually what I'm in the process of doing actually right now. So
Wow.
fear
Who is she?
used to be, swimming used to be a fear, but like I said in the disclaimer in the beginning, I always turn all my fears. I never give them life. I just go straight into it, and yeah. So what's some fears? What's on your list?
What's not on my list? I feel like that's shorter. Because I also don't make, I also don't face my fears or whatever, however you said it, by not addressing them.
Yeah.
So I don't like snakes. That's like my number one fear. I mean, I like snakes. So I just don't get by them. I don't like the deep water. I don't like deep water. It freaks me out. I see videos where people are like, "Ooh, look at this beautiful, picturesque lakeside," and then, "Ooh, look at this cliff here," and "Oh, why don't we just pan down so you can see the endless abyss?"
But you know how to swim, though, right?
I do know how to swim. That doesn't mean I like the deep, dark, unforgiving depths of the sea.
So you have a fear of what's in the deep waters.
Yeah, that.
So
I guess. I mean, that's also like I won't get into like the deep ocean because I'm afraid of sharks. I'm afraid one's gonna bite me. Or I'm gonna step on a sea urchin, or those like blue ringed octopuses that are only found in Australia are gonna like get me and paralyze me to death. You know, like I don't do all of that. And then there's just a bunch of fish peas, so there's even more of a reason not to get into the deep ocean.
You ever thought about like facing like the fear though? Like,
I mean, I still go into deep water sometimes. I'm not gonna do it. Just you're not gonna get me into the middle of the ocean. You're never gonna do that.
No, I mean like
But I'll still go tubing on lakes. I'll still like go fishing or go on a boat in the middle of a lake. Like that's fine. That's fine.
okay,
Just don't leave me in the water too long.
okay,
But otherwise, I also don't like the underside of boats, so I think those are hand in hand. I don't know where that fear comes from. I just think they're very disturbing and creepy.
I think
So I don't like the underside of boats.
so. You ever thought about actually like facing your fear of snakes, like going to an actual?
I have thought about that. Um, but every time I start to get close to doing that, I'm like,
Yeah,
thanks. So we don't do it,
even
and
in a
I'm okay with that.
even in like a trained environment, like something simple as like a pet smart.
Oh no. I mean, I can go to a zoo. The zoos are fine, but I still like the bigger the snake, the worse it is. Like I go into
Okay.
the Lincoln Park Zoo and I
Yeah,
see like the giant pythons that they have, and I'm
yeah,
like, I'm so glad they're behind glass. But then I also think back to the TV show Madagascar, by
yeah,
Penguins of Madagascar, one of the
yeah,
two, and there was an episode where they had a python on display, and it used its long tail to like
yeah,
open up the door because it could like it knew the code and then it would swallow the animals. And I was like, oh, it could do that to me too. Like, who's to say?
yeah.
And then I also have this like thing. One of the reasons I won't go into a jungle is because did you know anacondas, for however massive they are, can still climb trees and they just be chilling up there? Can you imagine just walking down the trail one day and all of a sudden you just hear a crash and you're like, oh no, and then just wham! This like 200-pound snake just lands on you. I would decease immediately.
They do jump. I ain't gonna lie.
Mm-mm.
Um, I was walking in the forest, so yeah, so you probably wouldn't like here because they roam free here. Um,
Oh God, no.
so
I like
literally
Ireland.
like the
Where's
paths and
Iceland?
things like Lincoln Park, like when you just like, oh, I'm about to take a stroll through this like park, like they are
Mm,
roam because they just find a way there from
no.
just slithering.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I've
I have been
seen
known to throw people down while I'm running.
yeah, yeah, you did say you have that fight or flight where if you're just like, and like
No, I have both at the same time. You're gonna be fighting while I am flying.
that's funny. I think you should.
Because I have done that. I've grabbed somebody, I've thrown them at the snake while I'm running away. I was like, no!
I think you should still do it though. I think you
I
should. Yeah.
should. There was one time I have been in the same room as a bearded dragon.
Yep.
Um,
Mhm.
I didn't like that as much, but it was okay. But the thing that threw me off is like, I'm keeping an eye on it. I'm keeping an eye on this thing, and it's staring at me. Animals know fear. They know you. It's
Mhm.
looking deep in your soul.
Yeah.
And he looks at me, pauses for like 10 seconds, and then just scurries right at me. I'm like, ugh! And I like flipped out, and I was done with that.
You know what's so
But I did
interesting
touch it.
about
I did touch it.
what was the texture of the skin of the scales like?
Dry,
Yeah.
scaly.
Yeah.
um, I kind of not leathery, but kind of leathery almost.
Mhm.
It feels like reptile. I
You know,
guess it's the best way you could
when
describe
you
it.
think about like snakes, it's like the power that they have, that their bodies have to just wrap around you. You will think like, nah, you know what I mean? But like the potential to literally break bones, you know, like.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
But then it's
I'm all set
interesting.
on that.
But it's also interesting that they're also a danger species because if the right animal gets them, can literally just pull them apart like nothing.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
why we have birds of prey.
Yeah,
We
like
love them.
that's
I love
interesting.
them.
Yeah.
Hawks are my favorite because they like snakes. So,
Hmm.
or mongoose. The mongoose is it's immune to snake venom.
Hmm.
Um, but like apparently I found this out recently that if the snake venom is potent enough, it'll just make them fall asleep for like a few hours. So
Hmm. Yeah.
that's kind of cool. But I mean, they still won't die.
Hmm.
I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the black mamba, it can bite you like 10 times in like the span of like 5 seconds or something
Mhm.
like that, and inject you with a bunch of venom. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. And have
Yeah.
you ever seen the fangs that snakes have?
Sadly, I have. Yes. They're
They when
creepy.
you think about like the anatomy of a reptile, that's actually pretty cool. Like they have their teeth and then they have like either in the front, depending on the species, or behind, or on the
Mm.
side of their teeth, just
Mm.
things that are literally sharp veins that just come out. I just find that so
Yeah.
interesting. And they
It's
drip.
interesting. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it's like how we look at food. Sometimes you'll get the salivating. When they look at food, you just see the venom just like dripping from their fangs, which I just find just hilarious.
Disgusting. You're right. Oh,
Well, here's the thing, it's so funny because it's like some snakes have venom where it's so poisonous, they don't even have to bite you. If it drips and falls on your skin, it's gonna
what
create like
what
a allergic reaction or get the burning.
what sci-fi original movie are you watching? I didn't know that.
Where this guy, I'll send you this guy's YouTube channel. He owns a whole exotic pet shop. All his snakes, he
Okay,
calls them his babies. They're this big.
that's disgusting.
And
I have
um
a friend who has a corn snake, and I'm like, why do you have that? Why do you have Satan in a box?
the corn snakes are definitely those are very house
And
friendly
she,
snakes, yeah.
yeah, well, and she's like, oh no, it's fine. She's like, he's there. She's in a constrictor, but it's okay. I'm like, until you're dead. But she's like, no, no, it's okay. It's totally fine. Like, it just feels like a small hug. I'm like, from what? Yeah, I don't like
Well,
snakes.
I
So God bless
deeply
her for having one.
so I deeply admire anyone who owns a reptile. Only because there's a certain kind of grit that the
Mm.
owner has to have. When you think about it. I mean, this
Well,
goes
yeah.
deep. It's not a dog, it's not a cat. You're not picking it up and saying, "Oh, let me play with you." It's like, no, it's a respect level
I
because
mean, I've known people who do that though. I'm not gonna
with
lie.
reptiles,
They just pick them up and like,
yeah, but it's a bigger boundary. I mean, that was the field that I was in. It's a bigger boundary when it comes to reptiles. They don't
yeah,
have a conscience. A cat or a dog has one. A reptile is like, no, food. Even though
food.
this food has been taking care of me for the last 20, 30 years, food. You know, like how
Oh,
many
did
snake stories have you read? You actually gave me one. It was we were at work. There was a snake that tried to swallow the girl. It was just looking at her the
oh, it
whole.
didn't try. It
Yeah,
didn't try. It did swallow that
it's
Filipino woman. But
yeah,
she went missing for a couple of days, and they found her in the stomach of a snake. And I was
and
like, nah.
that's what I'm saying. And that I'm pretty
It was a
sure
python, by
that
the
was
way.
their pet, right? That was their pet, right?
No, she was just out doing her job, and she never came back.
Okay, but
Yeah, yeah.
a
I
lot
was
of the
like, okay,
snake
so don't go there. Got it. Put it on my list.
a lot of the snake incidents that happen are from owners who they
Oh
then
yeah, I mean, I see those too all the time.
yeah.
It's
So
fascinating though because the way that like, a lot of them, it's just like the snake is constricting them,
mhm.
and the only way to stop that is you have to like unwind the snake.
Exactly, and exactly. Yeah.
And I'm
And
like, no
it's like
thanks.
and here's the thing, you ever seen the incidents well, you ever read the incidents or seen the videos where some of the snakes can be so strong, it takes like 4 to 5 men to actually unwrap the snake?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like
I've seen them.
they're to move a car, if a car is needs to be pushed, you can do it with like 2 to 3 men. But having 4 men who can move a car, you need more than them to be able to pull a snake. That
Never
has to be
underestimate the
on the
power of biology's muscle.
yeah, literally, and the conscience that reptiles have is something a little bit just different. It's a way more
Mm.
vicious kind of thing that I think a person could ever get from like a dog or a cat. I mean, yeah, you have those dogs that are big that have like the muscles and things like that, but you're not gonna need 4 to 5 men to get a dog off a person. You know what I mean?
Eh, I've seen those videos too.
I mean, yeah, but it's kind of like it's one of those things
Did
where
you know there are people who are afraid of dogs?
yeah.
I understand why. I understand why they're afraid of dogs, but it's just like I'm not afraid of them, so I'm like, but they're so cute.
But here's the
They're
thing,
so sweet.
dogs were different back then. Dogs are different 15, 20 years ago. People didn't have the ideology that they have now in terms of how to train a dog.
What?
Like
Oh,
if you had a dog in the 80s and the 90s, people just stayed away because you during that time you train your dog to attack to be able to assist you if there's an emergency, meaning
mm-hmm.
an attacker. I definitely know about that era because my mom and my sisters kept us away from dogs because that was the whole training thing. And then remember, keep in mind, people let their dog fighting was a big thing back twenty
I
twenty
think it's
five
still a
years ago.
thing.
Yeah, but people do it sacredly, but back then you didn't get in trouble if you did it. It was a thing. It was
Fair
like
enough.
having a chicken fight. So
I
yeah,
mean,
dogs.
those are also still going on.
Maybe
Just
those
seeing.
people have a trauma from there, and like I said, dogs today are
Well,
way trained way better. It's a different kind of
I
thing
think it
now.
was. What was it? I guess I just grew up in the Homeward Bound era, where just the dogs were trying to, and the dogs and the cat were trying to make it back to their family, and they just went on this journey.
Yeah.
So oh, dogs are sweet. But I think it was my mom who was bitten in the face by a dog.
Hmm.
And then my sister, she was also bitten in the hand by a dog. That
Yeah.
one was a fun one. That was a fun time
Yeah.
because I was taking care of said dog. It was a ex-police dog. It didn't complete training. I don't remember it failed out of training or something like that. So for some family friends, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna adopt a dog," and it was a sweet enough dog, but it still was under, police training. Um, and I was watching him for like a weekend or something, and he wouldn't go in his cage. And I was like, "Well, how are we supposed to get the dog in the cage?" And uh, we were like his sister was like reaching towards it, and all of a sudden, like bit onto her, and so we had to call somebody. They came to help pick her up because I couldn't drive at the time,
Hmm.
and then we had to take her to the hospital, and it was a whole thing. And my mom, she got bit on the face. Apparently, she almost lost her eye.
Hmm.
But neither of them are afraid of dogs. And so Steven just got a giant dog. It's like a mix of like two of the largest breeds in America. I think it's huge. I
Yeah.
think it's as big as you and me as a
Look,
puppy.
I've seen dogs my size, which is hilarious. People have them here. Everybody has
Yeah,
like
a horse.
yeah, basically they have them here, and it's only because a lot of people here own properties, so they have like a huge yard and space, acres in the front and back, where they have dogs who are herders, who are sheep herders and things like that. They're
Hmm.
huge, they're big here, and
So how do you feel about that? Like seeing large open spaces. Or how's the song? Wide open spaces.
I don't.
You grew
In
up
what
here in
context?
Chicago. You what?
In what context?
So you grew up here in Chicago, and you either have tiny yard or no yard, and now you're all the way out in Oregon, where you have acres.
It's
So
no
how does that
difference.
feel?
It's no difference because my father
What?
introduced me to those. He had country. He's from
Oh,
down south, so that's what he grew up in. So his friends who had properties and things, he just used to take us over their houses when we were little kids, and
okay. So
that's
you're not like staring around in wonderment. You're just like, oh yeah.
nah. It's one of those things where it's like I'm expecting horse poop, I'm expecting dog poop, I'm expecting swamps, mud, and people have farms here a lot. So one of the psychologists who's retired, that goes to the nutrition class that I go to, she works on a farm, and she said last week she was just doing what she do, the maintenance of the animals and things. It was pouring down raining, and she slipped straight into horse poop in a pouring
I
down
quit.
rain, and she just laughed because that's a natural thing that happens here when you're a
I
farm.
quit.
Majority of people here are farmers. They just make a good living because they supply food to like the city.
Like I already knew I wouldn't be a good farmer, but
Yeah.
the more you tell me about it and the more stories I hear, the more that I'm more 100% certain that I would
So
never be able to survive on a farm.
so I do a lot of gardening here, volunteering.
Is that the same as farming? I thought that included animals.
So a little bit. We do a little bit of agriculture. We do because they
There it
got a
is.
grant where I volunteer at. So we're doing a bigger projects now as winter comes. So now they're trying to figure out what volunteers are going to be open to working in the winter. I don't mind the cold, and it does not even get
Yeah.
close to the coldness in Chicago here. It gets very, very
You're in your
mild.
short shorts and a tank top, and they're all
That's
in coats. Like, who's this crazy guy?
basically. So pretty much, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be me and maybe like two other people, or three other people that's going to be working like the winter garden. But we're slightly doing agriculture. They're going to start putting in trees and things too. And
Ooh.
last Saturday, we gave out organic food to people who were homeless from the garden.
Aww.
And they definitely weren't doing that in Chicago. I've seen the quality of food that they gave to people who needed it, and it was not organic. Like we picked this stuff from the garden, bags. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have a fear of like open land and things like that.
Okay.
I'm more
Okay.
so running
Do you have
towards
a
it.
fear of heights, or have you ever had a fear of heights? That's like one of the most common ones. Is a
Nah,
fear of heights.
nah,
No,
because
you've
I
never
already
even had
know.
it.
Nah, because I already know in a couple years I'm going to be doing skydiving. It's already.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Oh,
about
so
the
you
real
just came
deal.
out of the womb flying.
Yeah, and I'm talking about the real deal stuff, like jumping like from an airplane with your chute on and a Bible in your left hand and smile
Your
in your
mom
right.
already had gray hair because of you. Like she was like, "Oh, he
Lord.
just won't stop jumping off of things."
No, but here's the thing. I'm glad that you brought that up because I am not an adrenaline junkie. I just don't. I'm not a person that gives fear life. I just never been.
Oh, that's it. I do give it life.
Yeah, yeah. I know. Like in the beginning, you were just like that. I was like, nah, I don't give it life at all. I think it's fun, but
I
I'm not gonna push somebody to tackle something that they're scared to do, and it might freak them
Mhm,
out and cause a trauma in them. You know what I mean?
mhm. Yeah. Are
Um,
you afraid of ghosts?
nah,
No.
nah.
Okay.
And I got a whole philosophy on that too. I'm not gonna get deep into it because we wouldn't have enough time, but I have a whole philosophy on that in terms of ghosts. Um, where me and you worked, where
Oh
when
yeah,
me and you
haunted.
worked together, remember my late week? Remember, everybody was out. Everybody was out. I checked everything. I'm walking past the room. The surgery chair just goes down by itself like this.
Mm. Hmm.
I know a handful of people that would have flipped out.
I would have just been like, "Oh, the bunnies are at it again."
Yeah, and here's the thing, and let's be honest.
I would have said, make sure you put that back where you found it."
And you know what's funny? That's how I looked at it. I'm
Nah.
not to get that life. I'm like, cool. And I
I
just
was gonna say
finished
that's.
like, yeah,
Mhm.
because
That's
here's
exactly how I will do it. I'm like they all of the paranormal shows like they survive on your fear and your negativity. I'm like, well then I'm just not going to give them that. I'm
but but
mean.
but there's also a thing where I do not play with spirits at all.
Well,
Spirits are
yeah, you don't go invoking them. You don't go searching for
yeah,
them. But if they happen to find me, I'm not going to give in to them.
exactly. Yeah, like you're not about to hear me. I will say this: I am a person. Me and my partner, we are planning trips to go to historical places that had
Oh,
historical
okay.
events happen there and things like that. We enjoy that kind of things, but we're going there in a clean spirit. We're not going there provoking because a lot of people try to provoke. history. And
No, I'm good. That sounds like
yeah,
energy and work.
and it's like, nah, you know what I mean? We're going there either on tours or to just pass by. We're not going, oh, I'm about to go inside. Or I'm about to see, oh wait, I'm about to go to that spot where it happened. No.
Oh,
You know what
it
I mean?
happened.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I think when it comes to fears, um, what I do is, like I said, I don't give them life, but also make sure when I'm facing them, I'm not playing with them. You get what I'm saying?
Sure,
So
I think so. I think I know what you're saying.
yeah, like I'm not like, again, like, yeah,
You're just doing exposure therapy.
there you go. Exactly.
I mean, it's
Exactly.
basically it.
Yeah.
But you're not going to exposure therapy into liking the deep dark sea. That's not going to happen.
Well,
Fight me.
when I get the process when I get my license to be a rescue diver, I have to have a scuba license. So in a very clean and very safe environment, yeah, I'm gonna go scuba diving and go diving in deep waters and things like that. But I'm not gonna go how a lot of these other people be going. Oh, I'm about to see if I can slide my body through this tight cave that's
Oh
all the way.
God, no! Oh,
Yeah,
spelunking?
yeah.
No. Cave
Like,
diving? Absolutely not.
yeah, it's nothing wrong with that. The people that enjoy it, but I got a wide frame, man. It doesn't matter how lean I get. I still have a wide frame. I'm not about to look at like, oh wait, I don't think I can fit through there anymore because no. People who are mostly good at that are literally frail, meaning like they don't
Me,
have muscle. Yeah, like up and down,
me.
like straight up and down. They don't gain weight. You.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm a
in
twink. I
terms of
get it.
yeah, it's like no, you not no. A guy my size has no business in there. You get what I'm saying? Because the moment if we even gasp for air, if we take a breath, all of this expands. Heck no, nah. The
Mm,
most, and I
no.
told my partner this, the most you'll see me doing when I get like my scuba license, I'm going down in clear water that's deep, where it's just like, oh, okay, everybody
Mm-mm.
goes down there. But you're not about to
I don't
see
give a
me
shit.
swarm. I'm not about to be swarming through Larry the shark. You get what I'm saying? Because he just be chilling down there. No. You know what I mean? And then also the
Mhm.
best thing that I have heard to do if you are a scuba diver or you like exploring underneath, you have to have a buddy with you. It's good to have um,
Well, yeah,
um, one or two people with you and let them know that you're going in that area.
yeah, and also to make sure that when you're going to the surface, you do it as quick as possible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, well, you have that, you know.
I
Make sure
mean,
your
if you want to get the bends, sure, yeah.
yeah, like it's one of those things where it's like all of these things are fears can be conquered, but they can't be like played with in a sense of you saying, "Oh, forget you, Mother Nature." You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh my God, would you ever go in like diving in the ocean at night?
With the correct equipment, yes. The
Oh
only reason
God,
I
no,
said that
that's
is
even worse.
what the reason I said that is because I go running at night. I went running in pitch dark. I even told you
Okay,
that's
that's
the reason.
different than being in the ocean.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like a lot of those activities that people are scared of. They'll say, "Oh, I do it, but I'll only do it during the daytime." Well, psychologically, if you're bold enough to do anything in the daytime, you're bold enough to do it at night.
At night.
You know,
Yeah,
like
no, I like there's the scene in one of the Jaws movies, I think it's the first one, where
mhm,
they're like out doing the cage, like they're just putting the shark cage in and they're
mhm,
just like waving the flashlight around in the dark water. And
mhm.
I hate it. I hate it because it's just a jump scare waiting to happen and I don't like that.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna have a whole segment about this on my YouTube channel too because I pretty much
Promo.
yeah I keep like my followers very acknowledged about things that I'm working on in life. and they hold me accountable to keep them like updated too. The only time like I do deep diving at night, of course, I'm gonna make sure I got a team with me. I'm not doing it on my own. I'm making sure that I have at least like a good 5 to 7 professionals with me, and that we're in a lit area, meaning field lights. You get what I'm saying? Field lights, and everybody has lights on their headlamp. You can put lights actually on your legs. You can attach them. You can put neon lights on your oxygen tank. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. But at that point,
I'm certain that the only light I'll be seeing at that point is the light of God because
you said no.
because
No, I mean, you know what?
I can't do it.
I don't blame you because if a person, and I'm not saying you, but I'm saying I think if a person naturally fears just darkness, just going anywhere where it's like pitch dark, it's probably not a good idea of them saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go for a night swim."
Yeah, literally. I'm not
Yeah,
that stupid.
yeah.
But what I will say that I learned from this episode as we were winding down is I still have a long way to go with some of my fears because I haven't addressed them. But at the
We,
same time, I'm okay with it.
and I would say all the fears that I had in the past, as I've been facing them, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm a robot, that I'm a Terminator. I get a slight scare, just a slight, but it goes away like when I'm actually in the act.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's just kind of how it goes with conquering fears.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, it never goes away. You just handle it better.
You learn how to control it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And the best way to be able to tame fear is knowing how to control it. You know what scares you, you know what jumps. So it's just like, oh, okay. If you're scared of crowds, it's just like, okay, I know I want to go to this cosplay event or whatever. I know, hey, I probably got to take like my medicine. If you take medicine for like being overwhelmed, or you take your anxiety vitamins, in which I have vitamins like for anxiety and like stress and things. Do I need those to function? No, but that's like having a band-aid in your first aid kit because you just never know. You might get a cut and you might want to wrap it up before it gets infected.
Fair
So
enough.
guess what? I take the band-aids with me everywhere I go. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
a healthy way of looking at fear, definitely. So
Yeah, and to all of our listeners, leave a comment. What is your fears out there? Because I'm very intrigued and interested to know. Who knows? Maybe we'll just throw a poll up. Which is the worst fear, claustrophobia or heights? I don't know.
and
But
those are two big things, and there's nothing
yeah,
wrong
no, those are like the two main ones: claustrophobia and heights. I think those are like the two big ones.
Yeah. But yeah, just feel whatever fear you have. If you have fears or whatever, feel it. Feel your fear and do it anyway. That's what
My
my
God, just
partner
sound like my
always
counselor.
says. Feel the fear and just do it anyway. So yeah,
All
pretty much.
right. Well, I think those are some good wise words to end off on. So tune in next week, everybody, so you can learn what we're talking about next. We'll catch you next week. Bye.